Hi everyone, my name's Anne Marie. Welcome to card making project 585 using our gorgeous Anna Griffin supplies. Now you're not going to see me at the beginning of the videos just for a couple of weeks, only because of time restraints. And I think the tutorial is the main important bit, so you're still going to get that. Now, everything I do use I shall put in a detailed list on my blog, and I'm going to run through the dies and the stamps that we're going to use, as always, for any of the tutorials. So this particular tutorial, we're going to be using our Anna Griffin sentiment stamp dies, and we're also going to be using the stamps as well from that collection. I'm only going to be using the Just For You stamp. Now mine are very well loved, and this is the Just For You stamp. I know it's difficult to make out, but you'll get the idea of the items that we're using. If you don't have any of the items, just substitute it for something else you might have in your stash. We're also going to be using the Anna Griffin all square die set, and we're going to be using the border. We're going to use the ornate layer and the shadow layer. And then I'm also, from times gone by, going to be using the ornate frame cut and emboss set from Anna, and I'm going to be using the actual frame itself and the smaller inner section. So I hope that helps, and as I say, there's a full list on my blog, so please check it out. There's also lots of photos as well. Now the first thing that we're going to need is our base card. This is a base square 6x6 ivory card base, and all I'm going to do is use my bone folder from the Anna Griffin tool collection to make sure I've still got a nice sharp score along the edge at the top, and I'm going to use the card with the crease to the top. I've already used a handmade by stamp on the back. I've added my name and the project number. You don't have to add your project number, just your name, and then the recipient will know who's made it for them, and they'll be able to keep it and then know who sent it in years to come. So we're going to create the inside first, and I'm going to be using cardstock from the Damask cardstock collection from Anna, and I've simply cut a square out that fits the inside of the card, so it's actually measuring 5.8 by 5.8 inches for anybody who's looking for the measurements, and that gives us a nice edge around the side, just as a frame, so to speak. I've got flat tape on the back of the cardstock, and I'm simply just going to insert it into the middle of our card like that. There we go, and then I can press it down. Our next layer is just a sheet of ivory cardstock, and I've used spun sugar ink around the edge. In fact, I haven't. I've used wilted violet ink for around the edge, and I've just simply blended it in. Now you could use any ink, any colour that's going to tone in. So this was just plain ivory cardstock. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm just simply going to insert this layer over our previous layer, like so. I haven't been frugal with the cardstock underneath because I wanted a nice, flat, even surface. If I'd have saved and die cut into the cardstock underneath, I think I'd have got a dip in this one. So that's our next layer. I've cut the smallest layer, the insert from the Ornate Frames die set, which was this. I've cut this out in the metallic cardstock from Anna Griffin, the 7x5 metallic layers. I've got flat tape on the middle of it, on the back of it, and you can see in the middle there's a hole, a little aperture, and this is where I've used the circle die from the sentiment and stamp die set, and all I've done is die cut the outer edge from the ornate frame die, and then at the same time die cut a circle in the centre. Flat tape on the back, and I'm going to add that roughly to one side, just over the edge of the layer and into the ivory layer, like so. And I've just got a little bit more tape in the centre that I can peel away. I've then die cut a circle in ivory cardstock. I've used the Just For You stamp in the centre, and I've inked the edges just slightly, and I can add this circle into our aperture, and that will give our sentiment for the inside of our card, and that's inlaid into the previous layer, so it's still flat across there. And that is our insert complete. Nice lot of room for your message, whatever you're going to write, your toonie from, and it's going to match perfectly to the outside. So now we can create the card front. I'm just using my bone folder again to make sure the crease is nice and sharp, and the base layer for the front is the same damask cardstock that we used for the inside. I've just got flat tape on the back of it, and again I've cut it just to 5.8 by 5.8 inches, so that it's just slightly smaller than our outside layer. Obviously that's going to depend on what size base card that you use. So I can press that down, and that's our first layer. Now I've die cut our ornate frame, and I know you're thinking, well, this is a square card and that's a rectangular frame. So what I've done is I've die cut the frame, and then I've cut it out. I've used the metallic bronze metallic layers, the 7x5, to die cut it, and I've actually cut the centre of the frame away. So I could match it up and make it into a square, but what I'm going to do is add one section to one side of the card towards the edge, and I'll show you the back what I've done with the foam tape. The foam pads, the 3D pads, are towards the edge of the frame, and then I've got flat tape on the inner sections so that it will actually sit flat here but be raised at this side. So I'm going to do the same at the other side. I'm just going to turn it slightly so that I can get them in line, or as in line as I can, and then that will sit there. There we go. So we've added our frame sections. Next, where we've used the all square die for the border, again I've die cut the ornate frame layer, the ornate all square border layer in the bronze metallic, and then the shadow layer I've cut it out in lilac metallic, and then I've simply cut it in half, or depending on your card size you might have to die cut it twice to get you know, your perfect edges. So the ornate layer has got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm going to position it over the ornate layer like so. And then the ornate layer, once it's on the shadow base, I've got 3D foam on the back of it and a piece of tape towards the centre, and I'm going to add this through the centre of our card like so, and it's just going to cover the inner section of the frame that we've cut. It's going to just marry up and layer over itself in the centre, but don't worry about that. Our next layer is from the Charming Collage toppers, and I've taken this one that I just think is so pretty. I've got 3D foam on the back of it, and it's just added in the sections that are covering sort of underneath the ornateness of it. I've got the small 3D foam in the smaller areas, and then the larger foam in areas, you know, where it'll go on. So I can position this through the centre of our card over the join of our border layer. So the sentiment actually covers the join like so. There we go. Can press that down. Then I've taken some mini flower stickers, and I've got 3 of these, and I've got the matching roses and the little purple flowers, which I won't even attempt to try and think what they are. I think they're like an anemone. I know my friend Marie will be laughing at my gardening knowledge there. So simply peel the back off, and I can add the flowers around the edges of the actual topper, like so. And then the flowers that were actually on the collage topper, I've got a little gold bow that I'm just going to add to one side and press that down. And that is our card finished. And you can see the inside. It's not as floral as it could be, but you know what, sometimes you don't want the inside as floral as the outside. But I think it's nice and classy, and there's enough room for your message. Really pretty card. Stands up perfectly, will definitely go on a mantelpiece. I love the colour combinations, the bronze and the lilac. It's something a little bit different. Not so high for posting, and you could obviously use whichever of the charming toppers or the birthday toppers, etc. that you wanted to use, so it's up to you for your sentiment. It's just a really, really pretty card. And everything I've used is on my blog, so please check it out. At the end of the video, my head's going to pop up in one corner. I think it's round here somewhere. And then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then here, there should be a little box, and it'll say, watch the next video, and there'll be a recent video there for you to watch. So there's lots to do, and I just hope you enjoy the tutorials. So I would like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.